Hello and welcome to my channel. Well, in this tutorial we're gonna do this stitch, one row repeat. These are the sides of the stitch. This stitch works with odd number and the stitch is reversible. I'm gonna work now with 5.5mm crochet hook. Okay, so I chain here 13 chains. We're gonna skip the first 2 chains, and in the third chain from the hook we're gonna go in there and we're gonna do a slip stitch, yarn over the hook, and into the same chain where we did this slip stitch we're gonna do a double crochet. We're gonna skip the next chain, and into the next chain we're gonna do the same slip stitch, and into the same chain a double crochet. And this is the stitch. We're gonna work like this. Skip the next chain and into the next chain we're gonna do a slip stitch and then a double crochet into the same chain. Skip the next chain and into the next we're doing the same slip stitch first and then a double crochet into the same chain. So skip the next chain and the next slip stitch first and then a double crochet into the same chain. So we have 2 chains left. We're gonna skip the next chain, and into the last one we're gonna do the same, 1 slip stitch first and then a double crochet. Chain 1, turn your work. It's gonna look like this in the beginning. So now, from now on, this is the row that you're gonna repeat on and on and on. So you're gonna do the slip stitch and the double crochet into the slip stitch from the previous row. So this one here, the first one is double crochet, the next one is the slip stitch from the previous row. So you're gonna skip the 1 stitch and into the slip stitch from the previous row you're gonna do all that. So you're gonna skip the first one here and into the second, which is the slip stitch from the previous row, you're gonna do a slip stitch first, yarn over the hook, and we're gonna go back into the same stitch and we're gonna do a double crochet. Skip the next stitch, which is the double crochet, and you're gonna do all that into the next stitch. And when you do the the slip stitch, I think you should do it a little bit loose. It will be easy for you to get in when you have to. So you skip the next stitch and into the next you're gonna do a slip stitch first, then a double crochet into the same stitch. Skip the next stitch and into the next we're doing the same. So when you do this loop should be a little bit loose, yeah, because that is the one that is gonna form the slip stitch, and then a double crochet into the same. And this is the stitch. You skip the next stitch and into the next you're doing the same slip stitch and a double crochet in the same stitch. So now you have only 2 left. You're gonna skip the next stitch and into the last one you're gonna do the same, a slip stitch, yarn over the hook, and a double crochet into the same stitch, the last one. You're gonna chain 1, turn your work. It's gonna look like this. So again, you're gonna skip the first one and you're gonna do into the next all that, which is the slip stitch from the previous row, slip stitch and then a double crochet. Skip the next and into the next the same. You skip this, the next, and into the next, and it's gonna build like this, and it's quite thick, especially if you use a thicker yarn. It's gonna be thick. It resembles a little bit like the bean stitch, even though we don't work with the puffs. So skip the next and into the next, which is the slip stitch. You see, if you don't make this a little bit loose, it's gonna, well, you might struggle a little bit. So now you're gonna skip the next stitch, and into the last you're gonna do the same, a slip stitch, and then a double crochet into that last stitch, chain one, and you're gonna turn your work and you're gonna start again. Yeah? So this is what is gonna come up. This I worked with 5.0 millimeter crochet hook, this sample, the orange one. So, well, I think that the sides are okay. Yeah, they're nice. Yeah, it's a very easy stitch. I think for you guys, the beginners, this will be just perfect. If you want, you can start from the beginning with a one row of you chain how you say, you chain the odd number, you skip the two stitches, the two chains in the beginning, and into the third chain from the hook you can do a single crochet, and then you will do in each chain single crochet or half double crochet, which one you prefer, and then the next row when you finish you're going to chain one, turn your work, and then you're going to, you know, skip the first and into the second. You can do second stitch, you can do the, you know, slip stitch and the double crochet, skip one stitch, and then if you don't like this to be like this, you know, the first row. Well, thank you for watching. Have a good day.